Hey, it's Ubu, and I'm glad you're here. Today we're playing the demo for Scarred, which is a first-person atmospheric horror puzzle game where we need to locate one of our fellow students that's gone missing, and it sounded pretty interesting to me. It's also Singaporean, so it has some nostalgic Singaporean architecture as well, if you're familiar with that. It's developed by Coex Studio, and it's published by the Iterative Collective. I hope I'm saying that right. You can see it in the bottom right here. But anyways, I figured we go ahead and check this out, and we'll see what's up. So if you're not familiar with my channel, at the end of the video, I'll review the game and share my general thoughts on it. So if that interests you, stick around. I'd appreciate it. Anyways, we'll go ahead and hit New Game and see what happens. Wow, that was quick. Photosensitive warning. Photosensitive warning. Press any key to continue. They had a lot of options on the main menu. I really appreciate that. Anyways, this game is a fictional dramatization inspired by true events. Ooh. Singapore South. Look, a bird. Ah. Are those clothes hanging off the windows? I hope they're clothes, not people. Oh my god. Scarred. This is very strange. Interesting slow burn sort of start here.
It's been a month since Olivia disappeared. I never imagined things would turn out like this.
I guess they've been kidnapped? Hard to really say. It was very strange. Chapter 1. Calvin in the Dream Cage. Whoa. What is this weird audio? Aim for the greatest. Calvin.
Where the hell am I?
Good question. Also, the game is not performing very well. Okay, I messed with some of the settings. Hopefully everything will smooth out, but let's look at this, I guess. Singapore. Singapore is a sovereign city-state located on an island in maritime Southeast Asia, situated just 1 degree north of the equator, approximately 137 kilometers or 85 miles. It lies off the southern tip of the Malay Peninsula. It is bordered by the Straits of Malacca to the west, the Rao Islands, sorry I don't know how to pronounce that, of Indonesia to the south, and the South China Sea to the east. Okay. This was to select, but it's not letting me select anything else. Just that, so. Okay. Cool. Calvin. A badge with my name on it. How and why is it here? I don't know, you went to school here, right? We have desks with uniforms just sitting in them. That's really weird. Jinhua. Jinhua Secondary is a government mixed school near Angmo-Kyo Central, with over 1,200 pupils attending the school. The school started in 1982 under the principalship of Mr. Lee. The school moved into its new premises on the 20th of July, 2002, and was officially opened by the Minister of Education on the 25th of January, 2002. Can't read today. I'm doing my best with pronouncing names, too. Sorry if I'm butchering them. Okay.
Let's give Calvin a big round of applause for clinching the top spot this semester. Calvin sets the bar high as a shining example of dedication and hard work for everyone to aspire to.
I am the best.
What's going on?
I don't know. What is this weird growth stuff that we're seeing? Eesh. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. I'm stressed. That's relatable. I'm sure for everyone. Today is just one of those days. Hello? Tuition schedule. Okay. Violin, maths, chemistry, Mandarin, A maths, and violin class. Very cool. Oh no. Okay, we can select stuff this time. Top 5 rankings for secondary 3 students. So we got Calvin, we got Kelly, David, Kelvin, and Mark. Cool. To all secondary 1 students, calling all secondary 1 students to join a CCA and earn additional credits. The top 5 CCAs are listed here. Basketball, women's volleyball, theater and dance, music, programming. Cool stuff. Missing person, Olivia Lee. Why did they get balled up like that?
Fucking idiot.
Oh. What's wrong with us? Why are we so mean?
What is this?
A puzzle. Always A's, straight A's. What? I'm just guessing. I don't really know. Okay.
Wait. Roman scored a 92 in math.
A 92?
Why are you falling short of 95 and above?
Bro, 92 is
Do you
good.
have any idea how much we paid for your tuition?
Uh-oh. Cutscene is struggling. We're back.
What the fuck was that? And did I just hear his mom's voice?
Probably. I don't know what your mom sounds like. Cutscene was struggling. I'm always not good enough. When will this ever end? It's always more and more. Too much stress. I need to puff, but hiding my cigarette pack in my bag feels too risky. What if mom finds it by accident? So I hide it in the safest place I could think of, between the books and the library. No one would ever look there. I'm sure no one will ever find it. Well, I wouldn't hide stuff in a library. What is this weird stuff? Oh, we're looking for our smokes? Is that what we're doing? A weird objective. Can I go over here? Okay. Aha! A pack of cigarettes. An expensive cigarette pack from a popular brand. I had to show my fake ID on my phone just to buy it. Yeah, that doesn't fly around here. Like, yeah, here's my ID on my phone. I'm not familiar with that. That's interesting. Okay. What do I do? Inspect. Use. Plus. Okay. What? Okay. I recommend not smoking. It's bad for you. More than anything, it's a bad habit. If that makes sense. Ah!
Huh?
Broken mirrors! Who's in here? Hey! Oh, that doesn't look good. Someone, like, showering in here? This is a toilet, though, isn't it? I'm confused. Calvin's phone. A phone, one of the few escapes I have from it all. Okay. Record. Are we being a creep? Oh, no. What the hell?
Ah!
What's with the breathing? That was so weird. I mean, it's all weird, but... My god.
Blackout.
Oh, no. Ew.
Is this wax?
Oh. Like the candle thing at the beginning of the game. Wax. My ears!
I couldn't get out.
God. Why was that so loud? This is weird. I was smoking at my usual place, the alley at the back of the canteen. Then I saw this girl. She was being sneaky. She didn't notice me at the staircase, and then she was adjusting it. I should have recorded it down. It is truly shocking. I managed to track her down, found out her name is Olivia. Maybe this can be fun if I can record it in my phone and show it to her. I don't know what they're talking about. I assume something of... Never mind. Voyeuristic. Hey, who did that? She missing a shoe?
Olivia?
Olivia? The world saw the real me. Interesting. Oh, it's a hair demon. Like in the bathhouse. The Chillazart game, that is. Woo. Woo, bugs.
Did you leak it?
No? End of short demo. Support us by adding it to your wish list now. Scarred is set April something. Okay, we're back on the main menu. I will review the game. Visually, I think the game is just kind of okay. I very much enjoy the main menu here. This looks very nice. I like the way this is set up here. I like how it looks hand-drawn in some capacity. At least I hope it is. So I really like how this main menu here looks. This is very appealing and I think sets the tone really well for what's going on in terms of visual presentation. While you're in the game, I think the game has some decent art direction. I like the way the environment looks. You know, it's a very convincing school that we're in, but with all the desks, books and paperwork and all that kind of stuff laying around, school uniforms. So it's a very convincing environment. I think the game may just struggle visually in terms of its fidelity. And that might be because I'm sitting on, mostly medium settings while playing this game, which I'll get more into as we go. But I think it just needs to be sort of fine-tuned just a little bit in the visual department. It's a little kind of blobby in terms of the character models. I don't know how to explain that very well. I just think they could add a little bit more detail. Maybe, smooth out just the way the character models look a little bit. They just look a little off, in my opinion. But aside from that, I think the environment looks just fine, and everything else works together, really well visually. So I would say visuals are okay for the most part. In terms of audio, I think audio is kind of struggling to really immerse me as much as I'd like it to. I don't mind the music in the intro sequence. I thought it was very nice, and the overall voice acting, I think, is okay. Obviously, I believe there's a bit of a language barrier between them, doing English voice acting, which isn't a big deal. I'm not, making fun of that or anything. I'm just making an observation. So some of the voice acting isn't very convincing, to me at least, in the way it's, portrayed, but that's just a personal nitpick of mine. On top of that, there are some odd clashing audio sounds with, the loud, really ear-piercing sort of whistle sort of sound that happens when you're going into a flashback. And then of course when you go down that weird wax hallway and he's banging on the cage at the end, it's also very loud, weirdly almost harmful to my ears. It's just not balanced correctly is what I mean. I don't necessarily mind loud noises in games like this because it's a horror game. It's really trying to set the tone and make it, immersive and realistic and some manner of speaking to really get you into the game. At least that's what I would think most games are trying to do. But some of that stuff isn't balanced very well, so it comes off real loud over everything else, and it kind of hurt my ears a little bit. Also, I just don't think the audio itself is very convincing, aside from the music and stuff, the weird music that's playing throughout the school. There's the part where we're confronting the ghost of Olivia or whatever that is, and there's random thunder and lightning sounds that happen when we fall down. They don't sound very good in my opinion. And also it wasn't established to me. There should have been maybe more thunder and lightning early on as we're in the school to sort of make more sense instead of oh no, she's knocking us down and all of a sudden there's a random crash of thunder or lightning or whatever. I find it to be kind of out of place personally, but aside from that, I did like the music and the overall tone that set, but I think everything else needs some fine-tuning, adjusting the balancing between all of the sounds and make them a little bit more complementary and congruent to what's actually happening in the scene. I just think there being random lightning or really loud ear-piercing sounds randomly when you're just interacting with the environment or having a flashback, I don't think necessarily works very well, and it kind of threw me out of it a little bit. So I would work on your audio just in general. Music is fine of what you presented here in this short demo, but everything else I think needs to be balanced. Voice acting is just kind of whatever, don't really worry about that too much, but like I said, it wasn't just very convincing like I would want it to be. Now, on to mechanics. I was actually quite intrigued by this game, primarily because it said it was a puzzle-focused sort of horror game. So, going into this, I may have expected maybe too much, and I also didn't know how short this demo would be, but in the demo, we only really got one puzzle, if you want to call it that, one that I remember, where you adjust the lines on the whiteboard to make the letter A, and then the whiteboard moves down the hall. that was pretty interesting. Very simplistic, but being a starting out sort of puzzle, I think that's totally fine. From then on, there's not really any puzzles at all. I mean, it just comes down to us sort of just walking until something happens, like a cutscene or a flashback of some kind. That's really it. There's not really any puzzles beyond that. I was kind of hoping maybe for a couple more puzzles in a demo like this, if that's what's advertised as what to expect in the full game. It's not the end of the world. I just pointing that out. The puzzle was also extremely simple. Of course, it did show like, oh, we need to find an item like the cigarettes, and then that shows, you know, how our inventory works. I think that was a nice sort of way to show you have an inventory in terms of mechanical standpoint. So it's telling us that there is going to be some kind of inventory system, even like combining items and whatnot, possibly for more puzzles or progressing further in the final game. But aside from that, I was maybe expecting a little bit more of a puzzle focus in the demo, but it was such a short demo that I think that's okay. I just wanted to point that out. Aside from that, mechanically, there's not much going on. There's, of course, finding notes and learning more about what the mystery is about the fellow students who are missing, and learning more about just the environment and, you know, more about Singapore. I thought it was really cool that that was included, of where it is and, you know, what is Singapore and where it is and stuff. I thought it was really cool. So it's cool that you include sort of the country that the game is set in some of the note finding and whatnot, giving a bit of a history and a bit of a backstory on where we are and the significance of it. So I think that worked really well, personally. Aside from that, mechanically, there's not much going on. So hopefully in your final game, there is more puzzles and things of that nature to do in the game rather than just sort of walk around and look at notes. But just in the demo itself, I would say mechanics are just kind of okay for the most part. So not a big deal either, but just, you know, my opinions on that. That's all it is. Story and concept is really interesting because I'm not really all that familiar with Singapore, you know, like lore and stuff of that nature when it comes to strange mysteries like this apparently being inspired by a true event. But that really still interests me to try out a game like this, because I do play a lot of games that are usually like Eastern European or something of that nature. Not necessarily all the games I play are made by like American developers or whatever. I'm from America, but it's weird how I always seem to find games made from other, you know, countries, foreign developers, which I find very interesting because it teaches me a lot about just their culture and just their perspectives on game design and things of that nature. So I'm always very fascinated to try a game like this, and seeing it that it was, you know, a Singaporean game really drew my interest. So the story and concept was definitely there from the beginning. I'd like the intro sequence being very mysterious and strange about some kind of man, I assume, kidnapping a couple of students and doing some sort of weird thing with a candle, like either freeing one of them or something, like a weird game of chance or something he's doing with them. I'm not really sure. It seems to come down that we're a student ourselves in some kind of weird dream cage thing, they said. And I'm not sure necessarily what this is supposed to represent. Like, is it just a figment of our imagination that's happening? Is it more of like a nightmare sort of thing happening? But it seems like the character we're playing is not a very nice person, because of, I assume, if the stress and thing they've dealt with their mother, forcing them to be this like perfect student, it really got to them in a bad way. So they've like negatively lashed out at people around them, like balling up the missing poster of Olivia and just, you know, calling them an idiot and stuff like that. So it's actually kind of interesting to be a character that's not so nice. And of course, we'll possibly learn more about them in the final game. You know, and also showing that they're a bit of a creep, you know, like filming people showering and things of that nature. And maybe the fact that we are that kind of person is what led to the eventual fate of Olivia and potentially other students. So I can definitely see this having a lot of potential when it comes to how the characters interact with each other as you uncover more secrets and things of that nature. And also the fact that the concept itself is in some sort of Singaporean school is very unique and different to me. So I think all of that works really well and has a lot of potential. So I don't really have any issues with that personally. I think it is very vague of what necessarily is going on, from like the intro sequence to then like we're in some kind of weird nightmare or something. That's a little jarring, but obviously it's only like, you know, a 20-minute demo or so, very short demo. So I'm not going to hold that against the story's pacing or anything necessarily. So yeah, I could see this really going somewhere with that. So story and concept, I think, have a lot of potential and is pretty solid. In terms of performance, I think performance is one of the most lacking things about this game. The system requirements are actually very minimal. You don't necessarily need a very, you know, strong computer to play this. And I think my computer is well above the recommended settings, even for just the minimum graphic settings and whatnot. So some of the cutscenes really struggled to even work at all. One of them just completely didn't work, and other cutscenes really started to lag out and get real choppy and weird, especially towards the beginning of the game. We went from the intro sequence into the game, and then the in-game cutscene of us like standing up as our character got real choppy and weird. But as you're kind of walking around and exploring the school, everything seems to work just fine. Something odd about the cutscenes isn't really coming through. Something's not working there correctly. I'm not sure really what that is, but I would definitely work on the performance and try to fine-tune the cutscenes and everything like that to work well, because you might end up, missing some context with what's going on with the game if the cutscenes aren't working. There's the one where we saw our character up on stage with some man, I guess, giving him an award or something like that, and that whole cutscene just froze out until it was over. There was still audio playing, I could still open the menu and stuff, but the cutscene itself just completely tanked. It just didn't work. So work on that. So performance, I would say, needs some work for sure. So just make sure you do that. Well, with all that being said, my final judgment for the Scarred demo is I would say it's okay. It has a lot going for it in the visual department. I think the audio needs some work just to be balanced and to be more congruent with what is going on in the actual game itself. It needs to complement with what you're experiencing a little bit better, in my opinion. Mechanically, the game is also decent, but also needs work in terms of, hopefully, more puzzles as the game is advertised. I would really make sure if you're going to have puzzles, to really make sure they're a focus of the game if that's going to be part of the way you advertise the game. Being a short demo, it's hard to really say, what you can expect in the full game in terms of the puzzles, but aside from that, mechanics is pretty okay across the board. The story and concept I really enjoy and think it has a lot of potential, so that's great. And performance needs work as well. So it's a little below average for my general experience on my rating list here, but I think this game, like all games, has potential to be improved upon and fine-tuned, so keep up the great work, and I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors. Tell me what you think in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree with anything I had to say? Do you have anything to add? Do you just want to say hi? Just let me know what's up. And don't forget to check the pinned comment below to the links for everything. Go play this game for yourself. Form your own opinion and tell the developer what you think about it. I'm sure they'd really appreciate your feedback as well as mine. And if you enjoy my content and want to see more videos like this, hit subscribe and leave a like, comment, and share the video. Do all that fun stuff. I'd greatly appreciate your support. And I appreciate you watching my video. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I think that's all I have to say about it. So thanks for hanging out with me. And don't forget, the pale moth is always watching.